With the massive success of MyHouse.Wad, the modding scene for the original Doom is experiencing a level of mainstream exposure it hasn't seen since Brutal Doom made waves in the community over an entire decade ago. With this new exposure, a new set of people will be entering the Doom modding community for the first time. To those newcomers, I say welcome. I figured this would be a great opportunity to recommend some of my personal favorite mods for Doom 1 and 2. Now, I already mentioned Brutal Doom. It is one of the most influential Doom mods of all time, if not the single most influential. It would absolutely have a place on this list. However, because it's already so ubiquitous, I will be omitting it in favor of other WADs that newcomers may not be as familiar with. These entries are in no particular order, and I honestly could put any of these mods at the number 1 spot. But because time is linear, so are these entries. I'm Hammer Cookie, and these are the top 10 Doom WADs I would recommend for newcomers. For the first entry on this list, I'm going with a classic among Doom players. Russian Overkill is exactly what it says on the tin. This mod adds over 40 different weapons as opposed to Doom's standard 9, and each of these weapons has multiple ways of using them for maximum effect. Each weapon has a crazy unique function to them that puts the power of the sun into your hands, allowing you to massacre demons by the dozen in a matter of seconds without so much as even thinking about it. And that's after the mod beefs up the normal enemies so you can at least see them take the punishment that you're oh so qualified to hand out. This mod is great on its own, but it really shines on custom maps or other mods with custom monsters. It's a great way to even the odds on some more difficult maps or let you breathe through a standard map without remorse. Some notable examples of weaponry include a minigun that fires jet engines, a 10-barreled super shotgun, a plasma sniper rifle that can fly off on its own, a grenade launcher capable of 4 different flavors of elemental damage, and so much more. Russian Overkill is a classic, and a must-play for anybody interested in the wild world of Doom WADs. If you're still looking for that horror fix, but want something a bit cheesier, I would recommend Zombies Extreme Epidemic Edition. Taking its playbook straight out of George Romero's Dawn and Day of the Dead films, this mod has you dropped in the apex of an already advanced zombie outbreak, forcing you to confront hundreds, if not thousands, of the undead, who are more than willing to swamp you in a sea of agony. You're not alone in this zombie apocalypse. There are regular civilians that are mixed with the horde. Cops, bikers, thugs, all as the game calls them, who are unsurprisingly eager to try and wipe you out as they fight for their own survival. Ultimately, between you, the zombies, and each other, none of them are surviving this ordeal. This mod is an older one, and you'll have to learn to appreciate the campiness and jankiness that comes with that. There are some moments that will admittedly leave you scratching your head in confusion, but if you can look past these, then Zombies offers a high-pressure survival situation where you will always be short on ammo, health, and time. At number 8, we have Mayhem Mansion, a surreal, goofy tour through old mansions, churches, castles. Instead of the traditional format, Mayhem Mansion simply drops you into a giant single level. This mod features custom art, environments, music, sound effects, weapons, and monsters. Each turn you take places you in increasingly strange and bemusing circumstances. The mansion quickly becomes a sprawling maze and more areas open up, and secrets are revealed. Despite this, the mansion is easy to navigate, and you'll rarely find yourself at a loss as to where to go next. The gameplay flows smoothly, and the difficulty curves at such a well-thought-out pace that you hardly even notice it. Mayhem Mansion is perfect if you're looking for something goofy, lighthearted, surreal, and reminiscent of late 90s computer gaming. When I first got into playing with GZ Doom, I was ecstatic to find out the several playable Doom Engine games that were just available and floating around. Doom 1 and 2, obviously, but you can also find Plutonia, TNT Evolution, Hexen, Heretic, Strife, and even Chex Quest. I was a little disappointed, however, to find that Doom 64 was not present on this list. Try as I might, Doom 64 was built on its own engine for specific hardware. But we live in a golden age of information and preservation, and GZ Doom is capable of much, much more than the original Doom ever necessitated. Doom 64 Retribution was the answer to my problem. Not only does it faithfully and accurately recreate the original Doom 64 down to the most minute of detail, it does so with the original art, animations, music, everything. It is a one-to-one recreation of Doom 64, but even better, as it can be played with a mouse and keyboard. It also includes several custom levels, meaning that you'll be getting more Doom 64 out of this package than from any other source. If you've never played Doom 64, this is by far the best way to go about it. It preserves the eerie atmosphere, crisp gameplay, and unsettling soundtrack that made the original a hit among Doom fans. If that didn't satisfy your nostalgic desire for Nintendo 64 gaming, then allow me to suggest Doom, The Golden Souls. It's heavily inspired by Super Mario 64 and its 3D descendants. You are placed in a cartoonish, Mario-esque world where you hop inside paintings to attain, not stars, but golden souls. This mod comes with several unique levels that take full advantage of the free movement available to you in GZ Doom, with tight platforming, climbing, and dodging, all without losing the original Doom gameplay loop. Honestly, this mod does feel like an equal mashup of Doom and Mario 64, with neither game really overpowering the other. The best of both are brought to the table, but so is the difficulty. Don't let this mod's cutesy appearance fool you. It can be unforgiving at times. It's going to take a good deal of skill, perseverance, and time to complete this mod. But the visceral satisfaction you get with beating every level, collecting every coin, and killing every demon is cathartic. And the whole mod is a rewarding experience I highly recommend. To say Ignoble is just a Doom mod is doing it a disservice. It is an entire game within itself, a very surreal, strange game. In it, you are tasked with exploring these dreamlike themed environments and fighting through droves of unique monsters, all while something out there is seemingly watching you. This mod comes with a whole host of custom weaponry, but don't get too excited, it's not very keen on handing it out. You will be tight on resources as you fight increasingly complex monsters in desert temples, poisonous swamps, haunted mansions, and tropical beaches, to name a few. This mod does offer a hub world where you can pick and choose your adventures at will, each unique path featuring a set of progressively stranger and stranger levels until you're met with a thematically appropriate, if usually grotesque, boss fight. Luckily, this mod can be tackled in chunks, all the way down to one level at a time. Your progress is saved after completing a level, but be wary, as your health, armor, and ammo carry over. I have personally had this mod for a few years, and there's still more I learn about it every time I play. Give it a shot, if you're up for the challenge. If short bursts of high-energy gameplay is what you're after, I would highly suggest Realism 2. The first Realism was also a contender to be put on this list, but I decided to err with 2 as it offered a wider overall gameplay experience. The premise of Realism is simple. You are placed in a level where your only goal is to survive and beat a boss fight at the end. Each round, slots are rolled to determine the weapons that will spawn on the map, what enemies will appear, and the general gameplay modifier. Fight through the thousands of enemies to rack up points that you can spend in town on new weaponry or even a selection of secret levels. While you're in town, pick up a conversation with the random denizens of this city, many of whom have entire branching dialogue trees for you to discover. The music here is awesome too. The first Realism admittedly has a wider array of actual options that can appear on the rolls, so if you're strictly here for the quick burst round-based gameplay, I would suggest playing the first. But if you want to feel your progress mean something and want a world full of little secrets to explore at your leisure, Check out Realism 2. Now, Doom isn't the only first-person shooter that I can get down with. Monolith's Blood, a ghastly, gothic take on the genre built on the build engine, the same as Duke Nukem 3D, offers a twisted tale of satisfying violence. Now, some mods have tried to bring some of that blood magic to GZ Doom, but none have quite captured the feeling quite like Bloom. Bloom, as the name suggests, combines blood and doom in more ways than one. Narratively, the discrete universes in which these games take place are coalescing, and a new, hellish pocket dimension is created in the wake of this event. Monsters from both franchises are thrown together to create unsightly abominations, such as giant beer-bellied butchers, were-rats, and cultists wielding chain guns. This dimension, however, is collapsing, and it's up to the protagonists of both games to try and save their respective worlds before they both disappear forever. The levels seamlessly translate from one game to another as you explore corrupted environments from both, and the flow of gameplay is never broken despite these games utilizing entirely different engines and PC technology to function. It helps if you played Blood before, however, it isn't entirely necessary, as you'll be taken on a thrill ride whether you feel ready or not. At number 2, we have one of the most impressive mods ever developed for GZ Doom. Castlevania Simon's Destiny places you in a 3D Castlevania adventure that rivals even official entries into the series. Created by Andrea Gori, this fan mod goes well above and beyond to bring you a truly Castlevania experience that fits flawlessly into Doom's scope of gameplay. From a mapper's perspective, this mod features some groundbreaking level design, and the first-person's perspective doesn't impede on the traditionally side-scrolling experience. The environmental detail is incredible, the reflective surfaces, the dynamic lighting. This whole project is stellar, and the fact that it was developed by one person is astonishing. It features everything you would expect from a classic Castlevania entry. The monsters you're familiar with are all there, as well as the boss fights, which function nearly exactly how they would in the 2D platformers. The fact that they accomplished this past the 3D transition is beyond incredible. This mod obviously made waves when it first became playable, so much so that Konami themselves at one point tried stepping in to have the mod taken down. However, due to backlash from the Doom community, it remains downloadable to this day. Though, I'll be hanging on to my copy, just in case. If you aren't yet impressed with what GZ Doom is capable of, allow me to make one final case. Yes, what you're seeing is running in GZ Doom. This is not a separate game, it's a Doom-Wad, and it's available for free. Total Chaos is simply indescribable from a Doom perspective. It is, unto itself, an entirely separate experience. The game feels inspired by Cry of Fear, however, I would argue that this Doom-Wad surpasses that with the monster design, crafting, and inventory system. Yes, I did just say crafting and inventory system. The fully fleshed out environments, and not to mention the thrills and chills. This mod takes its sweet time toying with you, making you feel alone, helpless, scared. But once it's time for things to kick off, Total Chaos does not hold back. This game doesn't simply ask that you run away from any threat, it demands it. The difficulty can be brutal at times, and it expends no forgiveness. Total Chaos feels perfectly like a late 2000s, early 2010s horror title, despite the fact that it uses an engine made in 1993 and isn't a standalone game. In fact, I would dare say it even surpasses many of those games. The survival horror elements are masterfully integrated, and the oppressive atmosphere leaves you with little chance to catch your breath or to ever feel safe. If you thought My House was scary, Give Total Chaos a try. Doom's modding history is as rich and layered as Doom itself, and Doom mods have been created and released literally since day one of Doom being available to the public. There are plenty of excellent WADs that I simply wasn't able to cover in this video. If you'd like to see 10 more recommendations, or alternatively want to see some examples of successfully combining them, let me know in the comments down below. If you'd also like a tutorial on how to perform Doom modding, I can provide this as well. I hope this list is enough for you to get started into the world of Doom WADs and the literal thousands of hours of free entertainment, unique experiences, and groundbreaking gameplay that is out there waiting for you. I hope you enjoyed, and please let me know if you want to see more. Thanks for hanging with the Pale. I'll see you next time.